But he's like, yeah, by the way, I listened to some of your podcasts, and I was like, oh, cool. Did you like it? He's like, yeah, it was funny. He's like, you guys talk about dicks a lot. And I'm like, yeah. Like, it's mostly Greg, though. He's like, oh, God, yeah, it's usually Greg.
Who's 17? It's Greg.
They say you're supposed to talk about what you know.
That's right. That's true.
History Defeats Itself is a comedy podcast. Kevin, John, and Greg are not experts, historians, or even all that smart.
Hello and welcome to History Defeats Itself.
Why are you
My
yelling?
name is Kevin Rosenquist. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are a comedy podcast that wonders why people never learn from our history. I am joined by my two co-hosts today, two men who annoy the shit out of me on a daily basis. John and Greg, how you guys doing?
Did you introduce us as your co-hosts and not your friends today because we're annoying the shit out of you?
Do I normally say friends?
You say something nicer than just co-hosts. That sounds very cold.
Oh,
That's
I didn't know I was ever warmer
I
than
do
that.
prefer lovers.
Sexual partners.
Nope, that sounds gross.
No, okay.
Lovers sounds tender.
Okay.
He's right. If we're lovers, it means you care. Maine is for lovers.
Okay.
Did anyone ever look up a city in New Hampshire?
Oh, fuck, we did. No, it was Concord? Was that it?
No.
No. Shit. We did. Did we? We ended the episode. We were like, oh, shit, we never did that. And then we thought of one.
I think we did. We came up with
No, we didn't think
we
of
came
one.
up with the capital.
Oh. I think we had to
like
Google it, though.
I think it was Shreveport.
Atlanta.
It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't, and I think it's really funny that we can't remember again.
We
We
don't
really want to
don't
apologize
care.
to everybody in New Hampshire. We really, it's more a product of us being stupid than you being forgettable. Oh, there we go.
Rochester.
One of my
Oh,
favorite
isn't that
bands,
Massachusetts?
one of my favorite bands, Ockerville River, is based in New Hampshire. Where the lead singer, the Will Sheff guy, he's from New Hampshire.
They're boring.
No, they're not. Fuck you. You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know anything about music.
You don't know. You just constantly listen to death metal.
And it is Concord. Concord, there's Derry, Nashua, at Nashua.
Nashua?
Nasha, maybe?
Nope.
I don't know how you say it.
I think it's Nashua.
Okay, hey,
All
Kevin.
right. Are we done? I didn't know if you guys were done. Follow us on social media. We are on Instagram. We're less on TikTok. We had we caused a stirring debate about seatbelts on YouTube Shorts. That was interesting. One comment was really actually attacked your comment, Greg, which I thought was funny because clearly he didn't understand what the podcast was about. That it was a comedy
What did he
podcast. It was something like your argument doesn't make any sense or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Fucking.
You should go back and read them. They're funny.
I hope that person was either like 8 years old or 90 years old because anywhere in between, you're fucking stupid if you thought I was serious.
Well, obviously, none of those people probably listen to this podcast because they didn't really understand what we do.
I said that you don't want to leave an ugly corpse for the EMTs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that was a serious comment. I think you should leave as fucked up of a corpse as possible for those guys.
I do think that one of them was fairly funny. The guy who said, "My body, my choice." I thought that was pretty
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. I was just thinking if you're going to choke, it'd be kind of cool. If you're going to die, you need an EMT or just like swallow a snake and then they go to give you mouth to mouth and just a snake comes into your mouth. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, when you suffocate from the snake,
You don't have to live through it.
Okay.
You're just doing it for the EMT.
I apologize.
Yeah, John, get your head out of your ass.
Excuse me.
God, you're stupid.
You're so
know.
dumb.
Not arguing that point.
All right, remember these episodes are on YouTube too, so if you want to see our gorgeous faces, feel free to jump on there and watch the episodes. Like us, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Review us if you feel like it. We haven't gotten any reviews in a while, but I don't give a shit. Do you guys?
My mom reviews me all the time.
Yeah. Courtney reviews me too. Courtney, she's got some very sharp criticisms.
Elwood reviews me quite a bit. It's really he's really awkward. A lot of criticism.
God, that shot of Di Serono got me kind of.
Oh, you're doing that again?
Yeah, I had no choice. I had no time after I got home, so I just grabbed the first bottle. And this thing is really easy to grab. You grab it.
That is true. That is true. That is a nice feature of it. Okay, it's my turn to lead the crew tonight. So, guys, question: when you think of iconic brands, what comes to mind?
Maytag,
Bud Light,
okay,
Coca-Cola.
Bud Light's an interesting one. Coca-Cola, okay.
Fiat,
okay.
Di Serono,
okay, okay. All right.
Montreal Canadiens.
Mohawk Air.
Okay. All right. I am not riding that airline. Although I will say probably a lot of punk rock playing, and that would be kind of fun. Because if you're going to go down, you may as well go down with punk rock.
That was their tagline. If you're going to go down, you might as well go down with Mohawk.
Short-lived airline. Very, very not well known.
That's their catchphrase.
So one of the most iconic brands I can think of, Greg actually mentioned, made one of the biggest blunders a company could make back in the 1980s. Tonight, we're going to talk about the new Coke debacle.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Some of this comes from a 2015 Time article by James C. Cobb called What We Can Learn from Coca-Cola's Biggest Blunder. So Coca-Cola was invented in 1886 by pharmacist John Pemberton. I said farmer at first. Definitely not done by farmer. It's a pharmacist.
So I'm kind of curious. Like every time we do one of these and you go back in history, people always, it's like Pemberton and Scooshy Boo and all these like
Scooshy Boo.
I've never met a Pemberton, right? Like what happened to these people? Did they not have sex and have children for their children went on? Or did they have all girls? And I don't know.
It's possible.
Like what happened?
Well, here you go. It was bought. Coca-Cola was the recipe was bought by Asa G.
KFC.
Candler. C.
Oh, Candler.
I also think that a lost art is the middle initial. I feel like maybe I should be Kevin J. Rosenquist from now on.
How about Thomas C. Howell?
Okay.
Remember that guy?
Pee Wee Herman.
We was his middle initial.
That's a good one. I like that one.
So it was bought
It's
by...
weird that they got rid of that letter of the alphabet.
Yeah.
It was between CPK. I don't know. I'm trying to make this episode funny.
Right
it's
now.
not working.
It's not working. You're crashing.
Can we get to the cocaine part?
There's not a lot about cocaine in here. So anyway, it was bought by Asa G. Candler. He was very ambitious, and by 1895, Coca-Cola was in every state, including large cities and small rural ones at soda fountains.
I'm sorry, what year was this?
That was 1895.
And it was founded in 1896? I'm so confused.
1893, John.
Oh, okay. I'm like, man, they...
Why does this matter to you, John?
Well, I mean, I was thinking, what's the matter with Kevin?
So the original dude, Pemberton, John's boy, he had, he was getting it into soda fountains and stuff, but he didn't have as much entrepreneurial spirit as Asa did. So Asa was the one who was really ambitious, and then bottlers began adding water to the syrup and bottling it by the 1920s. So that's when it really took off, because then it was being bottled. Between marketing techniques and connections, the bottlers worked to make Coca-Cola the only choice wherever they could. So it sounds kind of like a little bit mafia, just like, get out of here, Sprite.
You gonna have a Pepsi or you gonna have a Coke? Because one of those is gonna break your leg.
The other one's going to give you diabetes.
Well, they'll both give you diabetes. But would you rather have diabetes with 2 good legs or 1 leg?
Again, would you rather have a product with cocaine in it? So
look, only one of these is going to get you high, all right? And also, you don't get your legs broken. So it's a win-win-win-win something or other.
I could imagine it came in a little pouch. And you got your caramel.
No,
You got your sugar, and then you
comes
got
in a
your little
bottle.
bit of cocaine, and then you mix in some water, and then boom.
The nice thing was they always put a little extra cocaine in there so you could do a quick bump before you mix it all together.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Always
That's
thinking
just considerate.
that's just manners is all that is. But as the suburbs grew in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the small town stores were kind of pushed out by the larger supermarkets, and the larger
As one is known to do in a capitalist society.
and the supermarkets were stocking a larger amount of options, so there was far more competition for cooler space.
Did you guys ever go in
Pepsi.
on those like really off-brand sodas, like the
Dr.
ones that
K.
are 70 cents?
Yeah, my parents would do that sometimes when we were younger in the leaner times, and that even like RC Cola was like, ugh, not good.
Yeah.
Most
But
of
it
it's
was-
not good.
Store brand cola.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the totally generic brands.
The
Those
generic
were
ones. Yeah.
So
Those were
there's
rough.
There was Dr. K, Dr. Check.
I don't remember those.
Yeah, those are Dr.
John's
K was
really
like
good
a
with
Kroger brand.
doctors.
Would you say?
John's got
Greg?
more doctors than my mother.
Zing. I don't know what that was.
A Nike swoosh. That's more
He's keeping
brands.
score.
I'm keeping score, I guess. Supermarkets accounted for 3/4 of the nation's grocery sales in
That's 75%.
Very good, Greg.
in 1982, and the rise of convenience store conglomerates like 7-Eleven made the soft drink sweepstakes even more competitive.
Wait, there's sweepstakes?
It was just the terminology in the article. I copied and pasted that line. I didn't feel like rewriting it.
Okay,
gonna
because I
lie.
feel like you're not really winning any prizes by picking a brand. Okay,
Well, you could be winning the prize of great taste.
So wait, do you prefer Coke or Pepsi?
I prefer Coke myself. I don't drink pop anymore. I don't know if you guys do, but when I did, I like Coke.
do you prefer fountain drink or out of a can or bottle?
Definitely the fountain. Like a McDonald's Coke. Every once in a while, like Sheena and I'll go through a drive-through of McDonald's and we get a Coke and it's like, holy shit, that's good.
What's your ice preference?
Minimal. I need some ice.
I was
don't
going
wanna-
for shape, not necessarily quantity, but it's good to know.
Oh, you were going for shape?
Yeah.
Well,
was
I like
going
the
for
ones with like the hole in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I like the little crunchies.
Yeah, I
Oh, you like the
crunchies.
crunchies. You like
I
the
like the
crunchies.
crunchies, too.
Okay. So it's almost like a bit of a slushy for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
A
Makes them taste
Coca-Cola, a Coke Slurpee is delicious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really consume caffeine anymore, so it's really tough for me
Right.
to listen to this episode.
It's been decades since I've
Greg
had one, but I
only
remember
does
being good.
cocaine. He does not do caffeine at all.
I can only do the cocaine. That's all I can
Can't.
handle.
His heart can't
Doctor's
take
orders.
Dr. Pepper's orders.
Both. So here's what you. I prefer Pepsi over Coke.
Really? Really?
Yeah, I do. Because it's a taste of a new generation, you old sons of bitches.
And Michael Jackson, remember?
Yep.
He lit his hair on fire.
He did light his hair on fire. Yeah. Mhm.
And they came up with Pepsi Clear. That was
Yeah.
it.
It's funny. We can talk about. I didn't really dive into that at all, but that was it wasn't Pepsi Clear. It was Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was, I think it lasted less than a year because I read a
Crystal
little bit
Gale
about
Pepsi.
it. It was just terrible. Just no one cared. And everyone's like, this taste is kind of weird. So it just didn't work.
I'm drinking
Anyway.
this,
And then,
7-Up
well, you know what
right
they did
now.
with all that extra? They turned it into Zima. They had
there
all
you
that
go.
Pepsi left over, and they're like, we got to do something with it. They're like, sell it to Smirnoff.
They just added the alcohol.
Yep.
The nation's single most popular soft drink product, Original Coca-Cola, had claimed roughly 60% of the market share in 1948. That figure had dwindled to 21.8% by 1984 in head-to-head competition with Pepsi, whose consistently expanding share had grown to 18.8. So pretty close. Pretty close.
60%, also known as 3/5.
Okay, are we going to do this? Is this going to be a thing?
He's got a book on fractions, and he has just been going crazy all week.
He just keeps reading it over and over again. Pepsi, which was developed in 1898, which was a few years after Coca-Cola was invented,
Now you're going to tell us the order of numbers?
was developed by Caleb Bradham, and it was originally called Brad's Drink.
which sounds like
Semen.
water sports. It sounds like water, like pee. He's like, I'm going to pee in your mouth. Get you some Brad's drink.
Oh, like he's the dispenser?
Yeah.
He's
I
the
was going to say
dispenser
it
of his
sounds a
own
little.
drink.
It sounds a little self-indulgent, and
Yeah.
then John made it even more self-indulgent.
Brad's drink, the golden age of golden drinks.
Brad's drink.
Brad's drink.
The
I'm
official,
getting really tired of all these blowjobs.
the official soft drink of R. Kelly.
It's
Thanks so
funny
much,
because
everyone. Thanks for listening to the podcast. No way we can do any better than that. Have a great night.
we got canceled.
So, Pepsi was forced to declare bankruptcy twice, in 1923 and in 1931. Both times they tried to sell out to Coca-Cola, and both times Coke was like, "Nah, we're not interested." But they
that would've
Did Brad,
changed the
did Brad still
entire-
own it?
that would have changed things. What'd you say?
Did Brad still own it in 1931 or whatever
Brad,
it was?
I don't know. That's a good question. And it wasn't Brad. It was Caleb Bradham.
Oh, okay.
But he apparently liked Brad. I don't know. Maybe that's how the name Brad came around. Who knows?
There was no Brads before that.
There was no Brads before Caleb Bradham.
He's probably one of these assholes that like came up with his own nickname. You know, that's not how it works. Be asshole.
Yeah.
You don't
You
get
mean
to
like-
choose your own nickname.
You mean like K-Ro?
Yeah, like Cairo. God, he's really trying to get that to stick.
I don't. No, Sheena came up with that, and I don't push it. I just put it on here because I don't change it every week. Just shut the fuck up. All right. So Pepsi
Everyone
found
argument. Very good
everyone knows
argument.
his real nickname is Bangs McGee.
No, that's never been a thing. Rosie was a thing. Didn't like Rosie.
You were Rosie? Mm-hmm. Who called you Rosie?
Like
Was it for
in
your
like
cheeks?
grammar school, grammar school. I didn't go to grad school. Grammar school. You know, in grad school that I made up in my head when I went to Princeton.
I got my PhD in pornography. It's an at-home course.
And it's pretty hot dude is what how I look at it. So Pepsi bounced back, and after that, they were in a fierce battle for market share with Coca-Cola, which became known as
The Cola Wars.
the Cola Wars. Thank you, John.
John always gets these things
John is so smart. In 1975, they introduced their marketing campaign.
Who, Pepsi or Coke?
Yeah, Pepsi.
The choice of a new generation.
No.
Oh.
Pepsi. Drink us, not Coke.
Pepsi.
You would have been great. Did you get that from ChatGPT? Like, I don't,
Pepsi. We used to be called Brad's Drink, but we're doing better now with the name.
we're less weird now.
So where did Pepsi come from? Do we know?
No, I don't know that. But this was the Pepsi Challenge. Remember the Pepsi Challenge?
Oh, yeah. I do.
Which, for those younger listeners out there, was basically an ad campaign where they would put two cups in front of someone and they'd say, "Which one do you prefer?" And of course, in the commercial, everyone would go, "I like this one," and it was Pepsi.
It was a blind taste test.
Sorry, it was a blind taste test. Exactly. Yeah, and that was the marketing.
If you don't know
ploy.
what blind
They poke
taste
their
test
eyes
is,
out.
it's
Yeah.
not blind people doing the test
Yeah.
tasting. It's just people don't
See,
know what the brand is.
See, I did not know that.
Yeah. You're welcome. That's what I'm here to do. Here to educate with my PhD.
You want to be a pretty hot dude too, huh? But contrary to popular belief at the time, there was no science involved with the Pepsi Challenge. It was simply a marketing campaign. That's all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, wait a
shocker.
minute.
That changes everything.
It does.
Later studies found that there wasn't much difference to what people preferred. It was pretty much 50-50 as far as what people preferred. But Coca-Cola's concerns about losing market share to the sweeter Pepsi caused them to feel that they needed to react. There were also still rumors, Greg, that Coca-Cola contained merchandise number 5, which was a stealth code for cocainized coca leaves, which was in the original. There wasn't technically cocaine in Coca-Cola. It was decocainized coca leaves.
Are you sure?
That's what this said. I don't know. I'm not.
Did they
a scientist.
did they decoconize the coca leaves in the boardroom?
That could. All right, bring in
we
another
gotta get
bucket
this cocaine out of
full.
these leaves.
I
Bring
got
in
these
another-
ones done, guys.
Bring in another wheelbarrow.
We're working all weekend.
Better get those prostitutes in here because we're gonna need some backup.
I don't know if you know this or not, but this is really affecting my boner. More Coke.
So anyway, despite the rumors, merchandise number 5 had been removed from the recipe 20 years after its inception. So it hadn't been in there for a long time.
For those keeping score, 1913.
There you go.
In 1913, they removed it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fraction equivalent of that is.
We'll fucking work on it. And with President Reagan's war on drugs making headlines, the company didn't like the association with that rumor. And so this brings us to Project Kansas.
Oh, God. This sounds bad.
It's a great
Don't you
name,
think
right?
that there's cola wars and then there's wars on drugs? These are bad wars.
What are good wars?
Vietnam.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's right.
I'm just kidding. Hey,
Well,
if anyone's
if we
sensitive
didn't get
right
canceled on the R. Kelly joke, yeah, there we go.
now, that's called a joke, everybody.
Swing for the fences.
So
I had that baby teed up and
You're like, dear diary, got to use my Vietnam joke today.
Coca-Cola's senior executives commissioned a secret project headed by marketing vice president Sergio
John Banks.
Simon and Coca-Cola USA president Brian Dyson to create a new flavor for Coke. It's like a Bond movie.
boy, they fucked up good.
They commissioned some blind taste tests, surveys and focus groups, and the majority of people preferred the new flavor to both Coca-Cola and Pepsi. When they found out it was a Coke product, they actually liked it even more. And when they asked if they would buy it, the response was extremely positive that they would buy it in these focus groups.
They said words like yes.
And okay.
Sure.
And when
Why
can I
not?
go home?
You're paying me $50, correct?
Why am I not allowed to leave?
Why are there 50 of us here and only one toilet?
And those poor people are still stuck in the Kansas project.
So Coca-Cola was worried about releasing it as a new product because of fear of cannibalizing their own products. And bottling companies who knew of these tests were hesitant to accept another Coke product to have to distribute because Diet Coke and Cherry Coke had just recently become a thing and they did them basically at the same time. So all these bottlers were like trying to figure out how the logistics of everything. And they're like, hey man, we can't do another Coke product right now. So the decision was made to just replace Coca-Cola with the new recipe based on the focus group studies.
This is not a good idea.
CEO Roberto Goizueta insisted that it say new with an
I think you
exclamation
mean
point.
It's Senor Roberto.
I might just call him Roberto from here on out because I don't know if Goizueta is right.
Bobby.
But he insisted that it say new with an exclamation point on the can, which is why everyone referred to it as New Coke. It wasn't technically called New Coke. That's just what it looked like on the packaging.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark.
Exclamation point.
Have you ever been to the Coke bottling plant in Atlanta, Georgia?
I have not.
It's pretty cool. It's actually really cool. How many bottles and cans and stuff they do in a day.
I've seen the show How It's Made. Don't think there was a Coke episode, but still, I've seen that show.
I want to see the Coke episode where they're showing you how to make cocaine. Do it at
That was
home,
the
kids.
final show of the final episode where they got canceled. So Discovery was like, mm-mm,
Yeah, can't do that. I mean, we're going to air this.
we're
but
totally going to air this. And on reruns, too.
It's going to go into syndication for sure, but you are canceled.
So our friend Roberto announced the new formula on April 23rd, 1985. The massive promotional push, including celebrity endorsements from people like Family Man and all-around good guy Bill Cosby, and free samples helped make it seem like the change had been a success.
All around good guy. Really?
I added that
All
part.
around good guy.
You get the new Coke and you get all rapey.
The
That's
thing
my
I like
preferred.
to do is you get a new Coke and you take this little vial and it's got a powder in it, see? And you pour it in like that.
That's what I like to call my
And then
comeback
you
drug.
hand it to somebody.
It's the drug that sobers you up.
So, things changed quickly after the initial positive response. The people rebelled against the new formula. The company received as many
They
as...
took to the streets.
They did. The company received as many as 8,000 calls per day from irate customers. A psychiatrist whom Coke had hired to listen in on calls told executives that some people sounded as if they were discussing the death of a family member. People were pissed.
Can I
How
just,
would you like to get that job as a psychiatrist? I went to Harvard.
I just want to say, what's wrong with us and just us? I mean, human beings. Like, why do we care? It's Coke.
I don't
The
know,
thing that
man.
you're addicted to is the sugar. It's in all of them. That's why you want
Nostalgia
it.
thing, John. You always have a hard time with nostalgia.
That is true. And tradition.
Yep. You don't
Yeah.
like it.
You don't like nostalgia or tradition.
It's not that I don't like it.
Nope. You don't like it.
It's just that you hate your childhood and everything about where you came from.
That's exactly right. So his nostalgia is fucked up.
Oh man, I feel like we're about to open a
Holy
door here
shit,
that I cannot
Kevin.
stop
That was
crying.
really fucking smart.
Yeah, we're definitely changing the course of this episode right now.
Yeah.
John, I want to talk to you.
I don't
just
like. I have
did.
nostalgia about things, like music and stuff like that. But I don't understand. And I will say this, just a little side note. I am coming around on the sports stuff, right? Like I don't like it, but it's like, all right, I get it. Like I get what people get into this stuff. But it's Coke. Like what? It's just a drink. It's just a soft drink, and it wasn't that different, right? I bet it like what? Yeah.
I remember it tasting a little too saccharine
Well,
for this
what it
guy's
was?
palate. when it
Pepsi
came
was
out.
known to be the sweeter of the two, and that's one of the things they were trying to compete with. That it was,
And
they were trying to make it sweeter.
it was like an artificially sweet situation.
Well, no, because I think so.
Hey, I'm just going by what I remember. Okay.
Well,
Well,
we'll
they
talk.
didn't
We'll
start
talk.
using-
We'll talk.
I'm sure it was still sugar or whatever the fuck they did, but it was not. Wasn't as good.
No, I remember Coke. That version, and it wasn't. I did not like it as much. Definitely.
I don't remember. I remember it coming out, but I don't remember.
You don't remember how you felt about it. I remember the Crystal Pepsi
Yeah.
too. That was.
I remember Crystal Pepsi.
that.
Yeah.
That I did not like at all. That was a very
That was
funky flavor.
stupid.
And
And it
I
was
remember,
stupid.
I remember Saturday Night Live at that time because there was a lot of clear stuff coming out. There was
And that was
Crystal
why.
Pepsi,
That's exactly why they did it, because there was a bunch of clear stuff. That was like the big
and
rage.
Yeah, they
Saturday
came
Night
out with
Live
like
did a
clear Sprite and clear 7-Up.
Yeah.
water,
Which stuck.
clear
Which
water.
actually stuck.
Yeah, I did.
Clear water. Is that what you said?
Clear water. Yeah. No, but like the Saturday Night Live did a skit where they were doing clear gravy for Thanksgiving. I remember that.
That's solid. I like that.
Yeah,
That
that's pretty good.
seems like a good memory. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for that.
that was nostalgia for my childhood.
There you go.
Yeah.
So protest groups formed. One was called the Old Coca-Cola Drinkers of America. It's very to the point. I feel like they were like, what do we call ourselves? I don't know. We gotta come up with something quick.
Our deadline's coming up.
Our deadline's
I'm
coming.
on the phone right now with the namey people. You gotta give them the name.
The namey people. The group's founder, whose name was Gay Mullins, filed a class action lawsuit against the company, which the judge threw out, citing that he preferred the taste of Pepsi. Which to me is him saying, go fuck yourself with this frivolous lawsuit.
That sounds an awful lot like John's Saturday Night Live sketch.
I thought that was great. I love it. If
That's
that's true, I think that's awesome. I love that judge. Like, nah,
And
I
that
like Pepsi
judge
better.
was Justice Chief Roberts or John
Clarence
Roberts.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Judge Wapner.
Judge Wapner. Some compared the change to burning the American flag or rewriting the Constitution.
Yeah. I can see that.
One letter read, God and Coca-Cola have been the only two things in my life. Now you have taken one of those things away from me.
I don't think God had.
But at
anything to
least
do-
I still got my guns.
So now I got more things.
Was there like a video at that time of Kid Rock shooting up Coca-Cola cans with a machine gun?
There should have been.
Oh God.
This new Coke, I think new Coke is a pronoun. I don't like it. They Coke.
Ads for New Coke were booed heavily when they appeared on the scoreboard at the Houston Astrodome.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought if you were sitting at home and the commercial comes on, you just boo in the living room. It's like, who gives a shit?
One of the things Nielsen's does is they
They have mics.
I'm pretty sure that 99% of people that are booing in fucking stadiums are just doing it ironically.
Or just joining
I don't
the crowd
know.
or
There was.
whatever.
Did you not hear there was a society started, the old Coke Drinkers of America or something? Like,
Those guys, no offense, but they sound kind of like pussies.
you know what
They
these
were-
people needed? They needed the internet.
We've never said that one before.
Yeah, they were crying out for the internet.
Yeah.
They didn't even know it.
Right. Well, because they wanted to bitch to somebody and they wanted to bitch to each other. And if they would have had Facebook, they could have. There would be like there would be like a 200 million people on Facebook group hating New
Well,
Coke.
they also, if they could come up with a better name, I think that maybe they could. There's no spark to it. They needed
That's true.
I don't know, like Coke Masons or something that like something that applies to something like the
Cokeheads.
Coca-Cola drinkers of America. Like what the fuck? No, who's getting behind that?
How about
I like
Coke
Coke
addicts?
heads.
Coke addicts
is
of
good.
America.
Cokeheads is good. No, that would have taken off. There's been a lot of people like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. But
Kokenstein.
people in the South were most angry about it. Some
sounds right.
called it a surrender to the Yankees. Remember, this is 1985.
And then, well, to be fair, we were still really mad about the Civil War. Like
They're still
Because it was only
mad.
100 years
Yeah.
old. It was kind of fresh.
we
Still kind of
never
fresh in
let that
everyone's
one go.
minds.
That's actually why I'm growing out the beard. I know I'm going to get drafted any day to go back and fight the Civil War. So I want to have a good Civil War beard.
You would die
catch
on the first day,
muskets.
John.
Oh, God,
definitely
yeah.
on the first day.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't die on the first day. I'd get shot, get gangrene, and then die like a month later.
Is the gangrene still a problem?
I mean, if we're going to Civil War, I think it's going to be.
So
mean-
that'll bring it back.
Yeah.
If we have a civil war, we have to go back to the
Yeah.
1800s
Well, we can't use
have to have
full
the same
automatic.
medical,
We
yeah.
have to use muskets, right? So,
and cannons.
yep.
I like it. I think it's good. A columnist from the Anniston Star in Alabama noted Roberto's Cuban origins and insinuated that the flavor change was a communist plot. Even speaking of communism, even Fidel Castro was pissed. He called it he apparently loved Coca-Cola and he called it a sign of American capitalist decadence.
Oh, God.
He's right. Oh, he was right.
I'm going to die.
Speaking of communists,
you know what? I'm just so happy that the communists and the Southerners were getting along.
I know, right? It's like the first thing they ever agreed on.
God, it's kind of like that movie, Independence Day,
Field of Dreams. Oh,
where the whole world unites against aliens, but instead everyone unites against fucking
Coke.
Coca-Cola's tyranny.
Okay. Is there anything that you think could happen where you would be that mad? Like anything? Like, is there anything for either one of you? Like outside of like your family being harmed or something like that? Is there?
You mean like a
something
product or something in that
anything,
realm?
like a
Yeah.
sports team? Is there anything that could, like, if all of a sudden the Canadians said they're going to change their name to the Canucks? Like, is that a racist thing for Canadians? I don't know.
No, there already is a team called the Canucks.
Oh,
So that
okay.
would be really weird.
Well,
No, I mean, I think the only thing that would piss me off like that is if I went in to get a tattoo and I asked for something and then I look and it's just a ball sack. That would piss me off.
It's a
Even
very
if you ask
similar.
for-
It's a very good analogy. Yes.
even if you ask for a ball sack, would you be
No,
like,
that's the whole point.
oh, okay.
I asked for a portrait of John Banks and I get a ball sack. I'm
well,
not happy.
I mean, how do you tell the
Like,
difference?
why
really?
is this ball sack so wrinkly? No, sir, just stretch out your skin. Oh, that's me.
I don't know who you're making fun of in that one.
Forgot I was 87 years old. My bad.
So outside of the South, the reaction wasn't too bad overall. But when the company met with international bottlers in Monaco, the bottlers straight up said they weren't interested in selling the new recipe. That surprised them, which is odd to
This
me.
new recipe, I'm not going to sell.
Well, when I read that, I was like, so you didn't even think to like ask like if people would still bottle it before you released it? Like that just seems like kind of maybe you might want to do that. But
Yeah, you remember you introduced this topic by calling it a blender Kevin.
Yeah, but that's
So why are you surprised when everything you're saying after
that
is
surprised me
blunderish?
because, well, I think the blunder is in that they totally misconstrued the reaction from the people, the consumers. I was surprised that they didn't at least ask like international bottlers, hey, we're thinking about doing this, would you still sell it? You know?
In fairness, they probably didn't even know they had international bottlers. Nobody was checking their email.
Well, I mean,
If someone's like, hey, did you know that we sell this all over the world?
what? It tastes like shit. You guys know that, right?
This takes rust off a nail, right? People are drinking this in other countries except this dumbass one.
You know,
If
I
you
think
put a
Fred
tooth
just used
in a
it to
Coke-
brush his teeth with.
I didn't know if John had one there. Okay.
I was done.
He's got nothing.
Pepsi even took out a full-page ad in the New York Times proclaiming victory in the Cola Wars, which I would have done the same thing.
Mission accomplished.
There you go. There you go.
I don't think a lot of people are going to get that.
I love a good GW reference.
Yeah.
On July 11th, 1985, just 79 days after New Coke's launch, the company announced they were bringing back the old recipe, dubbing it Coca-Cola Classic.
Yep.
ABC News.
I remember that.
Yeah. ABC
remember that
News interrupted General Hospital with Peter Jennings to share this big news of the day. On
In
the
fairness,
floor,
most adults at that time were at work.
we're not at home watching General Hospital. On the floor of the Senate, Senator David Pryor said it was a meaningful moment in U.S. history, and letters and calls came flooding in, thanking and praising the company.
Peter Jennings is Canadian, so it's kind of funny how Canadians just kind of step in and take over U.S. shit. Every
mean-
time we were always bailing you guys
You
out.
mean reading news that happens?
It's not easy to do it without saying A every other word.
It's true.
And he nailed
For
it.
Canadians or for everybody?
For Canadians.
Oh,
Greg calls me every morning at 6 a.m. and reads me the news, and he always says A. So
I do.
he's like, "Good morning, A."
That's nice, though. I mean, I would love that. I'd love to get
Yeah,
the day's
it is
headlines
nice.
from Greg.
Well, you
Well, we
can
can
read.
conference
I
you
can-
in.
Remember when I wanted to do a news podcast? Come on, we can do that still. Somebody
That's
out there
a
pay us to do a news
stupid idea.
podcast.
No one's paying for any of this. Ever. We're like New Coke for podcasts.
No, we're not. We didn't
No.
change it. Well, we did
Yeah.
change our recipe, actually.
Well, but nobody formed a committee or a fucking thing to stop us.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. My mom does. So,
I don't think my mom knows.
no, I texted her.
Okay.
So,
You texted my mom? Thank you for that.
I did.
The new recipe would stay on the shelves.
Dick pics.
Eventually, they called it Coke 2 in 1990. And by
Because
the
it
end of...
costs less for the lettering to go from classic to 2.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. By the end of 1985, Coca-Cola Classic was outselling both New Coke and Pepsi by 2-1.
So that ended up working.
So, I mean, that was July that they changed it back. So pretty quick, it turned around back in favor of Coca-Cola Classic. And Coke
Everybody
2,
was like, oh, what a relief.
Coke 2
these
would stick
people,
around
Coke.
until... when do you guys think Coke 2 went away?
1997.
I was going to say 1999.
Greg wins Price is Right. 2002 was when it was officially discontinued. Yeah.
Seems
Can you
later
imagine
than
if you
it
had one of
should
those
have been.
cans? How much it'd be worth?
Probably something.
Yeah.
Our buddy, our family man and all around good guy Bill Cosby severed his partnership with Coca-Cola, claiming that his commercials praising the superiority of the new formula had hurt his credibility.
Oh, it was that.
Which is kind of ironic, knowing what we know about him
Well,
now.
they did actually use that in the rape case against him. So,
Do you know he was a spokesman for that new Coke shit? People were
Yeah,
like,
but he was also...
that man is guilty.
what a monster.
He fucking is a monster.
He's
Yeah.
total monster. And he's out, right? Didn't he go out
Yeah.
and get out?
Yeah.
So, that is the story of New Coke. The interesting thing about this is what the execs of Coke realized after this is that all their market research gave them info about how people felt about tasting the product, but they completely underestimated the emotional attachment people had to the original Coca-Cola product, which, to John's point earlier, is wild that people could have that strong of an opinion about a soft drink.
So do you want to? So Courtney and I, we were talking last night. As we
About
do,
Coke?
about not the drink.
Oh.
So we were talking to our dealer. No, we were talking about marketing because Courtney's like, she is really smart and she likes statistics. So a lot of times when they say like, you're 50% more likely to get cancer from blah, 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 right? Well, a lot of times it may be that you have a 0.5% chance of getting cancer if you don't smoke. And then if you do smoke, you have a 1%, right? So you're double, right? But it sounds way more dramatic. But anyway, so one of the things we were talking about is that, one of the worst sciences about surveying people is in diet, because basically, when you look at the data, ice cream should reduce your chances of getting diabetes based on the market research and data they've collected. And that's a true thing. And the reason for that is because, well, it could be a lot of things. It could be, number one, people who tend to eat a lot of ice cream are, like, in other words, people are probably lying about it because they have shame around it or something like that, right? And so anyway, so it's like basically because
They have
don't,
shame around being an ice cream eater?
well, like obese or or eating, having like a sweet tooth or whatever. So basically, it's like that, and it's because basically it's like the because yogurt is supposed to be like help reduce diabetes, and yogurt is supposed to be like a very healthy food. Well, if you look at the data, ice cream and yogurt are almost equal in what they do for you and the like health benefit. But people don't like advertise their ice cream as healthy, right? But yogurt does. So it's just like a very, I don't know, it's just fascinating.
So are we putting out there into the world that ice cream makes you healthier?
According to the data, it reduces
According
your
to
chances.
Courtney, it does.
Well, yeah.
Sounds like Courtney just wanted to go to Ben and Jerry's.
I'm pretty sure
She does it.
just had a sweet tooth.
She does it. Courtney does have a sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth. I'm like, yeah, that works for me. Let's go get ice cream.
Are you still smoking weed?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't smoke weed.
Do you take cannabis?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's probably why you have a sweet tooth.
Well, right, but I mean, but even when I don't do that, like I just fucking, man, give me ice cream or give me death. I think that was George Washington that
Yeah,
said that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm a big ice cream fan myself. Like it's actually something I strive not to have in the house because I could just crush it. Absolutely crush it.
Like Chunky
fucking
Monkey.
delicious.
Give me
It's
a pint
amazing.
of Chunky Monkey, and I'll take that son of a bitch out.
Ugh, make sweet love
So-
to it.
But anyway, so the point is like, point being is like, yeah, people are stupid. Oh wait, is that
That's
what
the
we were
point. Oh, okay, yeah, no.
You
I mean,
can
that's part of the
bend
whole
science,
podcast, but
you can bend science any way you want.
I agree. Yeah, like the cigarette, like the smoking thing that you said about the 0.5 versus 1%. I mean, I think we all know that, John, you and I were smokers for many years. We know we very vastly increased our chances for lung cancer. I mean, we did.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the thing is like, when they say it, like, and I'm definitely not advocating for everybody to smoke. Don't do that. Don't vape. Don't smoke. Don't keep your nice healthy lungs healthy and clean. But but it is kind of interesting because it's like they're like, oh, you're 50% more likely to get lung cancer if you smoke, right? And I don't know what the number is, right? But maybe you're 5%. Maybe you have a 2% chance of getting lung cancer if you don't smoke, and you have a 4% chance of getting it. But when you say it, you're 50% more, or you're 100% more. Like it's like it sounds so like, oh my God. But then you actually don't. If you don't know what the statistic is for people who get lung cancer who never smoke, then it's like it really is just like an empty number that it is emotional, but it doesn't actually have any meaning.
I like chips.
God, they're fantastic. Wait,
What's
the
your
TV
chip,
show
what's
or
your chip of choice?
Punch?
Wait, what did you just say?
He said
Punch.
punch.
What does that mean?
No, I don't like punch.
What is paunch?
From the show Chips?
From the show Chips. How do you... Jesus Christ.
My brain was not even anywhere near that. I was like, what is that? Why is there not a chip called Punch? Oh my God, that's a gold
Punch and
mine.
John. Right, because it was John and then...
John Baker.
John
Yeah.
Baker, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. No, but okay, but outside of the show, what's your chip of choice?
I like wavy Lay's barbecue.
Oh, that's pretty solid. Yeah.
That is...
I like
I like a good salt and vinegar chip.
That's good too.
Usually like a kettle, the kettle cook, so it's a little bit
Kind of gets
crunchier.
you. Kind of gets you like right there, right?
Yeah. Burns your mouth, but like in a good way.
If we can get dip in there, the the ruffles with like a French onion dip.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get dip in there.
Yeah, I
you
don't
ever
see
had-
any reason why not to.
What, right now?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Give me 20 minutes.
Could you do that? Could you send some to me?
I'm going to go to the store.
I'm gonna DoorDash.
So
$750.
it's where am I? All right, there we go. All right, so some of the examples that Coke could have learned from. Schlitz beer. The Schlitz beer
Schlitz.
situation began in the early 1970s when
Thanks
the
for
company
ruining my next episode, but go on.
when the company decided to alter its brewing process to cut costs and speed up production. The new process led to a decline in the taste and quality of the beer, ultimately causing a significant drop in sales and reputation. Now, that's an interesting one because being in Colorado, like there's a lot of craft brews that get bought up. And as soon as they get bought up, they figure out new ingredients, cheaper, faster, whatever, and it always goes downhill. It's a bummer.
Well, I think the difference is that Schlitz probably didn't advertise the fact that they changed their recipe, where Coke
Yeah.
used that as a marketing
That's a good point.
strategy, and it backfired
I
that
think.
way.
Well, I mean, the problem with Schlitz is it tastes like Schlitz.
Well, it's
Before
not
or
good
after?
to
It was never.
start
It was
with,
never
so-
good. Yeah, it was never good. I wonder if Coca-Cola changed the recipe and they never told anybody, if people would notice.
Yeah, I would be curious.
It's
I would be
interesting.
curious, too.
I think
Yeah.
people would have figured it out eventually.
People would have put their thinking caps on.
That
Been like,
that
you know what,
guy
guys?
Gay Mullins or whatever his name was who formed that group would have been like, something's amiss. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna figure
You
it
know
out.
what?
But it's
You
not
know
enough
what?
to
I'm
band
gonna-
a group together.
I
Gay
can't
would've
get a
been
group
like-
together yet.
Is I'm going to stop drinking Schlitz, and I'm only going to drink Coke because there's something off about this Coke.
I'm gonna figure it out. Figure it out. The Ford Mustang II, 1974 to 1978. Ford's attempt to adapt the popular Mustang brand to a smaller, more fuel-efficient car during the oil crisis led to a mixed response from the public.
It was also butt-ass ugly.
Well,
It was-
it sold well initially.
Yeah.
But the Mustang II is now considered one of the least desirable Mustang models due to its underpowered engines and lack of distinct styling.
Well,
And
it's
Kevin's
like
endorsement.
It's like the Pinto One. Like, it looks like a Pinto,
Yeah.
right? Like that.
So-
Yeah. The Mustang 2 is not. Yeah, it is not a good car.
So
And it's ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
it's an interesting. I thought this topic was interesting because, you know, you have one of the biggest brands in the entire world. You know, it's like you think about. That's one of the reasons I asked you guys what you considered the biggest brands. Is because if you think about some of the biggest brands you can think of completely just changing. Like you, John, you mentioned Bud Light, which is obviously in the news a lot for other reasons right now. But if they just up and changed their recipe, if Budweiser just changed its recipe and like, you know, people would get pissed. I bet they would. People would get pissed because there's a lot of fucking Bud drinkers out there. And they don't
It's probably
want
a good
change.
example. Coke changing the recipe, I'm sure, has made other companies decide never to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Even if it saves money and all that shit, they're not.
but
gonna fucking do that.
people have tried different things, you know, like we talked about Crystal Pepsi, and that was a complete disaster, but they didn't change the recipe of Pepsi in the process.
Yeah, and when you stay with the original like classics, I know they call it classic, but I think that just you're not going to get a new product that's going to replace it. It's like clear Pepsi.
I mean, honestly, I'm trying out new Gregs right now, and so
how's it
far
working
the
out for you?
results
Not
are pretty
very
good.
well, is it?
It's going well.
I mean, yeah, I found some like younger, healthier.
There's no such thing as a younger Greg. Sorry.
There's definitely no such thing as a healthy Greg either. I know a couple.
Yeah, no, we're not.
I hope
built
my
that
other
way.
friend Greg still listens to this because you're not doing great.
You need some chin-ups or something.
You should go to a doctor. You may be
I am
dying.
actually legitimately worried about your well-being.
You've got that mole on your neck. We need to have checked out.
All right, guys. Last call.
No. Wow.
Oh shit! I better pour it. Hang on.
Pour it away. Pour away.
Water.
Water, you
Oh.
fucking pains. Going to take
I'm gonna go for a run.
Going to take a run like an elitist
No, I'm
asshole.
gonna run from my. I told you, I'm gonna run from my feelings.
What are you running from? Your feelings? Is that what you said?
Life. Running from life.
Well, I'm going to drink for life. Cheers to the people who do dumbass
L'chaim.
things to make
To
their
life.
mark in marketing and fuck things up. Cheers.
Cheers.
To Greg.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Greg. Thanks, everybody out there for listening. Until next time, drink that Coke. Someone do a better one than that? I don't have a sign off.
No, that's good enough.
Okay.
Coca-Cola. Whatever.